I believe that outside energy can really have a negative impact. I don't think anybody really talks about how challenging it actually is to shoot in the cold.
Tell me more.
The shaking. I shot Playboy in Canada. Not that I didn't always know that I wanted to model, but spending a lot of time with self really helped figure.
Influencer Insight shares the battles, stories, successes of models, influencers, and entrepreneurs as they find the balance of being influential leaders today while creating long-lasting impact for the future. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session of Influencer Insights, where I have Tara Green from, Canada. She's currently in Melbourne, Australia, a new resident there in the last little while, which is very exciting. It's kind of, I think, pushed her modeling career to the next level. But she's a model. She's been in all kinds of cool magazines, such as ones you might know, like Playboy and Cosmopolitan, and a few other mainstream modeling magazines. So really excited for that to hear from Tara and her story and her background, how she got started, and where she's looking at taking this thing. So welcome, Tara.
Hi.
Good to have you on.
My name is, it's great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your background, because you're from Canada, so you and I relate that way. We understand winter, I think. But tell us a little bit about that background and growing up and that kind of thing for you.
So I grew up in and around from a small Powell River, so just north of Vancouver. So grew up in Vancouver and in Powell River.
Nice.
And then when I lived in Powell River, I would travel to Vancouver for modeling interviews. And about 14 when I started doing that.
Okay. How did you get started at 14 looking at modeling?
Oh, honestly, I just knew I wanted to do it, and I sent out photos to different agencies and it lined up and just went from there. Yeah.
Cool. So back and forth to Powell River, how far away is that?
So you actually have to take 2 ferries to get there.
Models, join us on Facebook in our group where we've got all kinds of support and training you need to become a better model today. Check the link in the description.
Or even though it's
2 ferries
on the coast. It'd take 8 hours. It's been a long time since I have gone from Powell River to Vancouver. Yeah, yes. About there.
Okay. Believe it or not, I think we've had somebody else on, or a couple people actually from that part of the world as well on the podcast already. So there's some relatability there. But traveling in BC is not quite the same as it is in other places where you've got ferries and boats and mountains to navigate and get into where you're going, right? So cool. So 14 in Vancouver, starting to get the modeling thing going. What happened next?
So went to interviews, and then I ended up graduating high school early, and I left, and then I kind of gave up on the modeling dream for a bit. And then I kind of just did little shoots here and there on and off. And then it wasn't until last year, a little over a year ago, that I fully buckled down into modeling and got much more serious about it. I landed my first magazine, which was Mac Australia.
Wow.
And kind of went from there.
How did you, I guess, what was the decision making? Because usually everybody's got kind of that point in their life where they're like, okay, I'm going to go fully in on this. What made that decision for you that you were like, I'm going to do this modeling thing, I'm going to make it happen?
It was a now or never thing.
Okay.
Just now or never.
Thought about yourself in the future and you're like, I'm going to regret this if I don't do it. So
exactly. That's exactly what happened. Like, if I don't do it now, it'll never happen. And so I'll always look back and be like, oh, I could have done that, but I didn't.
Yeah. Did you have friends or family that were kind of around you that supported you in this, or was it?
Yes. I just kind of
hesitation.
Like, yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about the yes part.
The yes part. I feel like everybody were just like, okay, yeah, like maybe like that's cute.
Sure.
But yeah. So that's the yes and no part.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Sure. They were kind of all
about it. But I did have a few solids that had absolutely no.
Okay. And they were like, you're going to do this. And you're like, okay. So
yeah.
Nice. So, okay. How do you mind if I ask how old it was when you made the decision to go full in on this? Or I know asking ages are always kind of scary, but you look young, so that's probably okay.
Oh, thanks. I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing because I wouldn't have pegged you there. So there you go. That's a bit of a time gap though from being 14. So how many years did you have a little bit of a break in there?
Like I said, I did it on and off, and then so there would be like years. But then like breaks, and then
what did you do in between?
I worked in hospitality. I also worked blue collar job. interesting enough.
Tell us more about that. There sounds like a story there. So you're like, I don't want to share.
Oh my goodness. I was not great.
Which trade?
So I was a grader operator and a pipe insulator.
Really?
I also did some dancing prior to that, and I'll get back up.
Okay. Take some time. So
Yeah.
dancing or grading or operating, which is the better career?
Really depends on how you look at it, though. I would just definitely say dancing's more fun.
Fair enough. I always picture a grader operator, and no offense to them, I've done some farming, so I understand a little bit of the machinery life, and I quite enjoy running machinery, but it seems to me like grader operating would be awfully boring many days of the week because all you do is drive up and down, but maybe I'm wrong.
It is so boring, and it's tedious when you are at the edge of a ditch or like a cliff. So I'm sorry, but I
Never thought about the cliff part.
I guess somebody's got to do it.
Well, that's it. Exactly. No, that's right.
It wasn't for me.
Fair enough. But you tried it. That's worth something, right? So
I did. Yeah.
A lot of those jobs usually pay pretty well too, right? So you can get yourself cashed up a little bit and those kind of things. So
it's okay.
Not really.
It's okay.
Not enough for hanging off the edge of a cliff, eh?
No.
Fair enough. Okay, and modeling, what did you do? Those kind of on again and off again. What were the kind of shoots that you were doing when you just got kind of started in the modeling thing?
They were more of just shoots for fun. They weren't really serious shoots. And so when I jumped back into modeling last year, I did have a vision. I knew what I wanted to accomplish, but I had to rebuild a portfolio, of course.
Right.
So it was all about the rebuilding process.
Okay. How did you go about that?
I worked with a photographer a few years back in Calgary, and I just messaged him on Instagram and asked if he was available to shoot. And yeah, that was the very start of the rebuild.
Okay. Was that published anywhere, or was it just kind of your jump back into?
Actually was.
Wow.
It ended up being published in Maxim, Australia.
That was the shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind asking, and I hate to give away too many secrets on this, but how does something like, because you were in Calgary, the shoot took place in Calgary, how does a magazine like Maxim Calgary or Maxim Australia pick up on a shoot or your photos like that?
So I contacted Maxim, and then I submitted some photos, just some photos I had taken from a shoot. And I submitted them, and then I heard back from them, and they said that they had passed on my photos to another person, and then my photos got passed along to another person, and then they got put into a file, and then they got presented to Maxim Australia, and then they decide whether they're going to go through with it.
Okay. And was it just like, I think Maxim runs the Hot 100 contest or whatever. This was just a regular submission that you had done? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Any other magazines at the time that you'd been submitting to, or did you just like, I'm going right for Maxim and you ran there?
Maxim was at the top of my list. Well, one of the top of my list.
Sure, fair enough. When they selected you, did they interview you, or did they call you in for a shoot again, or what happens after that?
So what they did, so you got to keep in mind, Australia is 18 hours ahead of Calgary.
So you're telling us you're in the future? Is that what you're saying?
I am. It's 11:30 in the morning.
Very cool. 7 o'clock at night here. Nice.
And it's Wednesday, so Tuesday there?
Until Tuesday,
Anyway, so there's an 18-hour difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was glued to my phone, contact back and forth with Maxim Australia, and there was tight deadlines on getting everything together.
Of course.
So they sent me interview questions, all of that. Yeah, we just communicated back and forth and got everything together and ready for print.
How long between submission and print? Is it like weeks, or is it months, or is it days?
So I reckon it was days.
Okay. So once you had heard back, you're like, respond, however that works, right? Yeah.
It's just, like I said, with the 18-hour time difference, it made the little chat.
Yes.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be like, I gotta shoot my email.
They're like, we want to talk on Friday. You're like, great. Oh yeah, that'll be Thursday
Yeah.
for me, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What happens after a shoot like that? Like getting printed in a big magazine like that, there's obviously a lot of attention on you. What takes place next?
Place
Do you get
next.
booked right away? Do you have people phoning you? Do you have interviews? Like, does it stay relatively quiet?
It did open up doors for
Okay.
me. I definitely feel I got a lot more people messaging me. And then after Australia, I did Playboy.
Okay. Was it the next shoot that you did was right at the Playboy, or did you do some shooting in between there? Or
I did some shoots in between, and that was still continuing to build my portfolio
right.
and just keep doing more and more shoots. I find that all of these like shoots was such a good way of marketing myself.
Right.
And yeah, just working with more and more people, making some more art. And then, yeah, Playboy came up.
And did they contact you, or did you contact them?
I contacted, I saw them on Instagram, this agency,
Okay.
and I followed them. And
Sure.
then I can't remember if they messaged me or I messaged them, but that's sort of
You guys
how
start chatting.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell us about the Playboy shoot. What goes on there? How did you fly some cool location, or did they bring you to a studio? Or
No, so I shot the Playboy in Canada.
oh, really? Okay.
And yes, I did. And it was September that I shot it.
Okay. Not quite a year yet.
Pardon me?
Not quite a year yet, then.
Not quite.
Okay.
So I found out in August that I got the Playboy cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then shot for it in September, and it came out in October.
Okay, well, that's pretty exciting. Did they set all that up, or like once you're in a big magazine, do they expect you to book the photographer and that kind of thing? I'm guessing they have requirements and stuff for that, right? So
yes, there was requirements, and so I knew which photographer I wanted to work with on this one, and so great creative direct as well. And we just made it happen.
okay, very cool. And did you get any more attention, more messages, more all those things after that, or is it?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Good. And what else have you done for shoots? Like I know some of those magazines obviously pay and help launch your career, but generally working in some kind of brand work or retail and that kind of thing as the model, that's usually where the money and stuff is. So what kind of work are you doing to bring the income in now?
I do work with a lingerie company, and it's Australian based.
Oh, cool.
Of course. Yeah.
Sure.
And I actually started working with the black market lingerie
Oh, nice.
even when I was in Canada.
Okay. Do they pay you on a shoot basis, or do they pay you on a retainer? Or how does that kind of stuff work for
Commission.
Okay. So once you sell a piece or whatever, they get a ding off that, or however that works. So
Yeah.
kickback. So cool. What are some other cool? I know those are obviously the highlights. They probably always will be, and that kind of tops the list for you and stuff like that. What are some other cool shoots and unique locations you'd be able to shoot in?
Ooh, the Cosmopolitan shoot, which I did in these sand dunes, were really cool. Yeah,
in Australia?
They were shot just outside Melbourne.
Was that hot that day?
It's winter here, so no. It was actually really cold.
Okay. What's really cold in Australia?
Okay, so I reckon it's about like 11 degrees. It's honestly, okay, what I would compare it to is a winter on the Sunshine Coast, kind of, sort of. It's a wet cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but
it's just uncomfortable.
Despite everybody saying, oh, she's Canadian, she's used to it, it's been about 10 months that I've been shooting outside in the cold. You will never get used to being cold, naked, and oiled up outside in the wind.
Sounds like a dream life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's a whole new level of comfort that you either need to develop and just accept because how could you ever get used to that? So, oof. Do they, like, when you're on these shoots and you're doing something like that, do they have like big blankets and stuff to wrap you up in, or do they like warm you up with a hair dryer? How do they do that kind of stuff?
I just wait for my Uber heats.
They better have heated seats now, eh?
I'll usually have towels, covered.
Okay, that leads me into a different question. What are some of the things that you bring yourself on a shoot like that? I mean, obviously, maybe the clothing is kind of a little less concerned, but what kind of things do you do to prepare yourself?
Really need to bring a hairbrush. That's important. Yeah, I usually have a suitcase, and that will just have extra accessories, hairspray,
Right.
extra makeup if I need, backup oil that I love so much.
Slippery stuff.
Those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't. I mean, if you look at a nice photo, you're like, that's amazing, but not too many people realize the amount of effort, time, thought that goes into making that happen, right?
Absolutely. And I don't think anybody really talks about how challenging it actually is to shoot in the cold.
Tell me more.
The shaking. That's what. Also, especially I was doing a video. They're like,
Don't move.
Like your bum's just like jiggling, and I'm like, oh,
okay.
Oh.
I'm not cold.
Pretty much. Especially if it's windy here, it will not be a lip gloss day. And just especially when all you can focus on is how cold it is.
Right.
Your face and your posture, everything can be quite challenging.
Yes, for sure. Do you do any mental exercise or anything to get yourself psyched up for that, or do you dance out there when you're doing that, or what are some things that you've learned that help?
I'll usually bust out some funny dance moves or crack some jokes.
Get people laughing.
My mind off of how I am.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Lots of coffee.
Not particular.
Oh, okay. You don't want to be vibrating too much. Maybe that's part of it, right?
I'll have matcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your matcha.
Yeah. I'll have 1 cup of coffee a day, but...
Okay, fair enough. I don't blame you. Limiting or watching the caffeine intake is probably a good idea. So, and the other things
matcha definitely has caffeine in it.
Okay.
I probably have an unhealthy amount of matcha.
Okay.
I'm no health expert. I just do my best.
Well, good. It seems like it's working, so just take that for, run with that as it is. So
thank you.
What are some things that, other people that are looking at getting into the industry, or maybe they want to become models, what are some things that they should definitely want to do if they want to become successful? Or maybe what were some things that you would have told your younger self to do now about getting started?
Don't care too much about everything being perfect and going smoothly. I promise you, not everything is going to turn out exactly the way it is, and there will always be a reason for it. Things will happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Do not listen to any outside opinion. Even in my personal experience, even the ones that are smiling in your face actually do not work.
Really?
Keep your goals private until something is complete. Even though you are so excited, keep it to yourself until it's launched and done. Any outside energy can affect your goals for sure.
Do you have an example of that?
Actually, yes. I have been so overly excited about something that I was trying out for, casting for, and I was just so excited about it. I'm not just speaking on one particular thing.
Sure.
I'm speaking on a few different
general scenario.
Yeah, and told a bunch of people so excited, and then they've either gone a different way or just things have fallen through.
Okay, so is there some recourse from them on that, or does it just kind of sting? What do you think?
It does sting a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, I believe that outside energy can really have a negative impact on your goals that you're trying to manifest.
Yes. Tell me more about manifesting goals. How does that work for you?
Manifest. So I started with my foot's falling asleep. We did.
We're not going to cut that out, by the way. So yeah. It'll be fine. If you need a minute, it's okay.
Anyway, I started vision board last May.
Okay, about a year ago.
Yeah, and then so this is when I really, really wanted Maxim Australia.
Okay.
And I had Maxim Australia.
Coming back.
I had Maxim Australia all over this vision board. I had a bunch of model-related things on it, and I put the same photo that I submitted to Maxim in the middle of my vision board.
Really?
Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the first.
Okay.
Vision board.
Vision board. And I was in the center, the same photo. that I submitted to Maxim, I put in the center of this vision board and
Sure.
all of these things around it.
So I guess I'm just picturing this myself. Like, is this do you have a cork board and you're sticking pins on this thing, or is this a digital thing, or what's your vision board look like physically?
No, so I did start digital, but then I went and grabbed canvas, a bunch of craft things.
Cool.
And I bought a bunch of magazines,
Right.
and I sat there until about 3-4 morning, cutting things up and just gluing
Fun.
all up board and
Fun.
painting it, and just put it above my bed, see it every day, and keep visualizing it, and never forget like that this is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep pursuing it.
Cool. How did you know how to do this?
The internet really helps.
For sure.
The internet really helps.
Tara, the Google master.
Just a bit of research.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering a little more deep though, because it's one thing to say, hey, I should do a vision board, but to actually put the thought into this is how I'm going to do this. I mean, that doesn't you don't just wake up and do that, right? So was there somebody that suggested this to you, or did you have somebody that was inspiring to you that you watched that you picked up on this from, or?
Yeah, I did have a friend, and she actually showed me how to do a vision.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so she inspired me to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
For that, I'm very grateful. I definitely feel like without that, I probably wouldn't have manifested as quickly as I did.
For sure. For sure. No, that's huge. I mean, you went from May to September, you said, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty quick turnaround in a manifestation. So.
Yeah. Well, from May to August, because I was manifesting Maxim Australia for my birthday month, which is also Maxim's birthday.
Really? Interesting.
Birthday-ish. Yeah.
Okay. But that's like 3 months or maybe a little better. But So you're definitely a prime example of that stuff works, right? Very cool. What about some inspiring, do you have phrases or quotes or those kind of things that mean something to you too? Thinking about your dreams?
Being unapologetically yourself is the second thing.
Fair enough. Authenticity, right? So
yeah.
Does that help you have the confidence when you think about that? Because I mean, you've done some stunning shoots, but I mean, not everybody, even though they might do creative shoots that may not be so revealing or, expressive the way yours is, right? So do you think those quotes and those thoughts that happen in your mind help you express that in the right way?
Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, you've seen my work. It's not for everybody.
Sure.
And I work within my comfort zone. Like, obviously, working outside of your comfort zone is great.
Yes.
But when it comes to that, I work with it.
Right. You've got your boundaries in place, obviously. And yeah. How do you present that to, whether it's a magazine proposal or to another photographer or that kind of thing? How do you present those boundaries? What's kind of your tactic, I guess, to make sure they don't get crossed? Because it's easy to set them, but then it's harder in the moment sometimes to follow them too.
Usually we'll talk about it beforehand. There will be something written within a contract.
Okay. Do you carry contracts or do you send them out ahead of time, or how do you deal with that?
So it'll be a contract typically written by like myself or the photographer. We'll have a discussion prior to as well.
Okay, that's a good idea. I think a lot of people would benefit a lot of things and probably would have got themselves out of some sticky situations if they'd been proactive like that too, right? So,
absolutely.
Did you ever have any experiences where you were like, oh, this is too far, or maybe that the reason you brought the contracts in?
Absolutely. I've worked with some amazing photographers.
Sure.
I've also had my bad experiences as well.
Of course.
And it was something that I definitely had to learn as I go. And it definitely is those boundaries established and those contracts in place.
How much do you want to share about some of those bad experiences?
I don't want to scare anybody.
No, but it's all part of the industry, right? And reasons that things are in place. So feel free. You won't scare anybody.
You'll definitely, I don't want to say that you'll definitely run into, but I'm sure it happens more than it's talked about, maybe.
Right.
Maybe people who are in photography for the wrong reasons.
Sure.
Just lack of professionalism. Definitely had my fair share of stalkers or just inappropriate behavior on where I had to sever ties.
Sure. Nothing abusive, I hope.
Not abusive, just definitely very much
inappropriate.
Crossing the line.
Okay. Well, that's fair. And obviously because of that, you've implemented certain safety aspects such as contracts and stuff like that. What are some other things that you do to make sure you're safe in some of those shoots?
I will do some research on the photographer. I might contact somebody else that they've worked with.
Mm.
Also, usually, like, sometimes there'll be more than one person on set. I'll bring like a friend. Somebody will usually have my location just in case.
Right. That's a good idea. Yeah. And these crazy phones, as much as they're kind of annoying sometimes, they do have some really good safety features in them too, right? So if you point your pin to somebody, you can always know they're going to find you anyway. So
exactly.
Cool. No, that's helpful. And I think those are things that, sometimes we feel that maybe, I don't know, it hurts your credibility to share those things, but I think it actually builds a lot more confidence in you because people know that there's a line for you, but you also want to remain professional and do the best job possible. So, and that means going to shoots that are appropriate, right, for everybody. So I think that's something that everybody wants to see more and more of versus things getting out of control, right? So, okay, cool. What's something that people don't know about Tara?
Some people, but a lot of people don't know I'm an.
Okay. Tell us more about being an empath.
I don't just feel things deeply. I feel others' feelings quite literally as my own. If you paint,
sure,
I can pick up.
You walk into a room and you understand whether the crowd's excited, happy, sad.
1000%. I understand energy very
cool. That's an incredible gift and certainly something good that you're aware of it, all right? Because it could, I don't know, it can be there and you can kind of miss things too, and sometimes you miss the opportunities that you probably could have, right, if you don't pay attention to.
For sure.
How do you think it's helpful modeling, being an empath?
I would say, so back to safety, perhaps.
Sure.
Intuition has saved me from something potentially a little dangerous or scary.
Right. This person is asking a very awkward question.
Definitely help make the best decisions for myself and
know the right doors to walk through. Here's an example. I can't actually remember exactly how we met or started chatting online, but what's the difference? And obviously at some point I was like, hey, you should come on my podcast. But what are the differences between somebody like me that's just kind of random that you run across and you think that you find that it's okay to work with, or you feel it's okay to work with, versus somebody that you're like, woo, what are those kind of things that you can tell?
Definitely, again, go back to energy. You can even typically feel that even just online. But like I said, research is an important one. But research can be tricky because sometimes
you never know.
Everything could look so good.
You looked at photographer, somebody you worked with, and you've been like, this looks really good, but something seems off. That's something that happens.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So that's kind of your own safety, self-regulation piece right there, right? So does the weight of feeling emotions and energy all the time, does that weigh heavy on you at some points, and how do you handle that?
It does, most definitely. I need a lot of time alone to recharge.
Interesting. I relate.
Being around people all the time can be very draining mentally and physically draining. So I do definitely need a lot of alone time to regather myself, reground myself.
What do you do when you're what do you like to do when you're alone to recharge? What are some?
I love having salt bath.
Oh, cool.
That's a really good one, except what makes things difficult here was how hard it with a bath.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah.
I hear the water drains backwards, so maybe that's something to do with it. I don't know, but I don't know how that works.
I'm not too sure.
Never thought about it, eh?
I never put that much thought into it, but I mean, I've seen bathtubs here.
Okay. They're just not in apartments.
It will be my next apartment, hopefully.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
So I guess I just have salty showers. Not as relaxing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't feel like that's quite the same, but good for you for trying. Yeah. Good. What else? Do you do any mental practices? Some people meditate, some people pray, some people listen to music. Like, are those kind of things that you'll do at some point too, or journaling?
I do listen to a lot of meditation.
Okay.
Yes, I do a lot of guided meditation that I find really important, really help.
Where do you listen to your guided meditation?
It really depends if it's like before bed. A lot of it is like a sleep one. I do have issues with sleeping, so a lot of ensure I get a good night's sleep, and a lot of them are to help clear up.
Okay. Yeah. When did you start doing meditation? Okay. Well, that really has made a big difference for you, obviously. So
it has.
Completely life changed. So where did you think, before you got into the vision board and realizing that you're doing this modeling thing for sure, like where did you think life was going?
I wasn't too sure, to be honest.
Driving the grader.
Like no. Oh my gosh, definitely not. You definitely know that there's more to life than
For sure. Felt like there was something missing, obviously. So
there was just something missing. There was something really missing. Like I said, I knew that I would deeply regret not doing well.
yeah, that's for sure.
So I just decided to pick it up and try and take it as far as I possibly
Good for you. You never get that time back, right? So you may as well use it wisely. So
can.
I like that. What are some, maybe a dream brand or collaboration, dream shoot that I know you've hit some pretty big ones already, so that gets hard to top. But what are some things you'd like to hit yet?
Honey Birdette would be pretty.
Okay,
When I was a kid, yeah, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a big person.
sure, for sure.
That would be my dream job.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Super Bowl for the modeling space, right? So at least for the ladies,
It
anyway.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. No, those are some good ones to hit, and you're on a pretty good momentum track at the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're up there on the runway in short order. So so very good. Favorite part about doing the modeling thing? Why do you like to do this?
I meet so many incredible people.
Hmm.
I love the whole process, the whole art process, makeup, the outfit, and them just producing something so beautiful. It's always so different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so many different creative eyes that come together, right? And they see you in a different way, right? So
Yeah.
cool. What have you got for shoots coming up? You got things that you can share at all? I know that's always kind of a under wraps thing, but
I've got some exciting things that I'm working on, but I can't share just yet. But
okay.
they're well on their way.
Cool. Very excited. I feel like I kind of asked this question already, but people that are, I guess, for somebody that maybe is in a space where they're feeling like there's something missing or something empty for themselves, what advice would you have for them?
It's really just find your passion, something that you're passionate about. And I also, not that I didn't always know that I wanted to model, but spending a lot of time with self really help figure who you are and get to know who you are first before you can make any of that.
Yeah, that authenticity piece again, right? So,
Yeah.
and do you think the kind of that night that you spent for way up late working on the vision board and all that meditating, is that part of the reason that you were able to, or those are the things that you did to kind of find yourself, however you say it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I really had to look at the bigger picture. Who is Tara Green?
Yeah. If you went back and looked at the 14-year-old Tara, what are some things you'd tell her now?
Make a vision board.
ASAP, eh? 3 months will change your life. Very cool. No, that's good. Other big dreams in life, now that you're kind of on this track, I know modeling is kind of a big focus for you at the moment, and hopefully that continue to see that success in what you're doing. But do you have any other ambitions of where to take this or where that'll go next for you?
It would be the couple of things that I'm working on right now.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Well, that's
newfound love, passions. So everything's in the process.
Very cool. How do we find out about this? Or how do we learn more when you're ready to share?
When I launch it.
Okay. Will it be on Instagram?
Yeah.
Anywhere else?
Just Instagram, and there will.
Okay. The website too. Website and Instagram. Okay. Tara Green is just knocking off the goal list here. You're like a rocket ship just going off, right? So
Thank you.
You've already got a fairly large following on Instagram. I don't know, is it 40,000 followers or something like that? So
something like
good job. That's a big win, and definitely not something that everybody achieves or is that easy to achieve. So good on you for capturing those stats. But if Instagram suddenly blows up and you're at 1 million followers overnight just from some of your work done, and you have a whole bunch of new fans, what is a big thought or some big thing that you'd like them all to know?
That I hope that I inspire them.
Why do you want to inspire them?
I want to use my platform, show people that you can bring just a vision to reality.
It's possible.
It is possible.
How many late nights, I don't know if it was crying or frustrated or stressed out, did you have trying to make it possible?
Quite a few, especially just working internationally, and there's time differences that you have to work around. That's a big thing, making sure you're available.
Right. How do you get where you got to be? Right. Yeah. 25-hour flights are something I would be a little stressed out about too. So it's a lot of pressure. So it's good. Cool. Definitely want to see more where you take this, Tara, and we're really just cheering you on and supportive in this whole thing. Really glad that you could take some time and share a little bit about where you're going and share a little bit of a teaser of what's to come and that kind of thing. So very excited for you, and congrats again on all the big shoots and the big wins so far. So
thank you.
You bet. glad we could kind of make it work. It's been in the works for a while, but it just
It has.
the month and the time to connect and everything, right? So it's cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you.